It's all true. Everything they've said is true. I'm back. Welcome. So yeah, this is. I mean, you know what's up. What is that? This so trying to get back to this because obviously the entirety of the family is here, and the small child was having some issues. So I took care of that. She got hugs and all sorts of delightfulness. So I've jumped back on. And say howdy when you get back here. So I know everyone's going through this. This is very similar. I don't know if you saw that, but there was the guy who was being interviewed on national television, and then the baby came in, and then the mom came. Like none of that's going to change. Like we are all right there right now. So thank you for sticking with me. So this is kind of a part two fasting. So what we'll talk about on this one, if possible, which makes this ironically perfect, is how to work from home. Do a couple of tips on this because this is going to become a new normal for a lot of people and all sorts of things. And I don't know. We'll see if we can get through this particular broadcast. So what's up? Howdy. How you doing? Let me actually send everyone here a message. Howdy. Let me know. Doing. Let's see how this works. Periscope will probably think that I'm yeah. Perfect. Across the board, lots of things have lit up. Anyway, so here's a big deal. I'll give you some tips because as I said before, I've been doing this for something close to 20 years now. And a few things that I have found that really, really help. And the first one's a little bit weird, but you'll see why, is make sure that you shower and make sure that you exercise. Both of those are absolutely vital components of making this thing work. I mean, you have to try. And I know that there's like those funny memes of like, day one working from home, and it just kind of goes on. So by the fifth day, the person's like sitting there and they're completely buck naked in bed. You've got to get up and you've got to create like that morning ritual for yourself. That is absolutely unbelievably vital. So I try to do the same thing, even with the crazy of having kids. And we recently took in, we're part of that Safe Families program, which isn't foster care per se. It's like a step before kind of thing where it's a temporary kind of thing where the parent needs to kind of figure out what they're doing. And so we have more children in the house than normal because we took them in. But yeah, that's a pretty fun thing. So that does disrupt the routine, but you definitely want to get some sort of morning routine. That's very important. So make sure you shower, get some form of exercise. What I'm going to tell you right now is if you have anything to do with fitness and you're not on TikTok, YouTube, and posting things on LinkedIn, you're missing out on some raging opportunity right now to be able to get people into home workout. And we kind of give you an idea of this. Anybody who is in any kind of anything related to health, fitness, diet, nutrition, anything like that, this is your moment. I mean, it's kind of everybody's moment right now, but just where I'm thinking in terms of this first thing to do is this is your moment. So back to the work from home tips. How you doing, everybody? Even if you're watching this on the replay, say hey. I like to know where everyone's from. So the second piece is you want to be able to set up some kind of daily routine. So that includes, I should say, some form of human contact. Like right now, obviously, it's going to be like this sort of thing. And this is why most days, and I'm actually practicing what I preach right now, because going live and that kind of stuff is not a completely normal thing for me every day. So I'm going to work on making it like that. So you want to create a routine that has some level of human interaction with it because you don't want to completely disconnect from humanity. Don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want to do that at all. And then the third thing is to create daily micro rituals. And what are daily micro rituals? So, for example, if you own a business, the most important daily micro rituals that you're going to have are going to be, acquiring new customers. What actions can you take? Are you looking at advertising? Are you thinking about, okay, I need to do something for content? Plan it out. And then the night before, say, for example, it's going to be a content kind of thing. What is it that you're putting out? What kind of information? Maybe brainstorm a couple of titles. And then, so what I do is I will put this in the notes on the Pahone here and just sort of let my subconscious handle it while I'm sleeping. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have this great idea. And that you can train yourself to be like that. And so that's how I've been able to put out, I believe it's about 15 blog posts. I want to say something like 27 videos, 2 webinars, a number of interviews, and also then set up these live streams all within roughly 9 days. So you can get a lot done even, and by the way, if you missed the first part, I literally had to cut this thing off because one of the kids, it happens, it absolutely happens. That's a sort of a reality of life. The children are, especially for the next 3 to 4 months, because that's the kind of situation we're in. Indeed. Hello, I have no idea how to pronounce your name. To me, I think you are in Cyrillic, but awesome. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully you're not having all the crazy that we are up here. So yeah, there you go. Let me really quickly recap this for everybody. If you have any questions or just say, hey, throw it into the thing. But the first one is make sure that you shower, make sure you exercise, kind of take care of yourself. If you aren't doing some sort of self-care thing, what you'll see is a negative stacking effect. It's sort of like a collapsing effect sort of thing. All right. So make sure that you're doing that. That is a big deal. The next thing is make sure that, part of your routine includes some form of human contact, whether, after all this, kind of does what it does, make sure maybe you go have a coffee with somebody. But right now, try to get like a little video chat, a little face to face, or at the bare minimum, have a phone call, because like actual human contact, especially if you're by yourself, is going to be super, super vital. And even if you're an introvert like me, when all of a sudden everybody's staying home, you're going to realize, oh, wow, I actually do need that little dollop of help. And then create your daily micro rituals that are going to push either what you're doing in your job or what you're doing in your business. And you want to focus on what are going to be the big needle movers. Are there any fires that have to be put out? Do you need to think about financing? We've talked about that in a couple of these things. Do you need to think about maybe calling the bank, the car, whatever that thing is, to kind of get it on the pause? What is it you need to do? Is it acquiring new business, creating new content, all that kind of stuff? Those are the kinds of things you want to do. So awesome. So hopefully this will help you kind of navigate this whole new normal thing if you have not been doing it for a while. But these have been the things that I have personally found, I should say, over the past 20 years to be really, really helpful. I will admit that sometimes I forget to shower in the morning, and then because I get busy in my head, then my wife has to remind me. So you don't need to be perfect at it, but it is helpful to make sure that you do it every day, because you're just going to feel human. Honestly, it can be very, 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 very. You can get into negative patterns very easily if you're working from home. Not just in terms of productivity, but in terms of just what happens in your head if you're not in that kind of environment, because community is huge. So definitely participate. I should make that tip 4, is participate in some form of community. It's not a bad move. All right, cool. So once again, I am Johnny Andrews. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm probably going to try to pop back in a little bit because I promised some folks on TikTok that I would talk about the perfect business for introverts. There is one. It's crazy. All right. So thank you again for hanging out. Round 2. I'll see you soon.